work with this card. In Tokyo, they don't have to deal with this because there are ice delivery companies. It's funny to say, but I think the best ice machines in the world are Japanese, and nobody in Japan uses them. Their bars and restaurants are too small. They don't have room for that. Electricity is really expensive, thank you. So an ice machine is very difficult to sort of fit into the budget. So the way it's grown up is there are ice delivery companies in Tokyo that sort of duke it out for supremacy. There literally are guys in little scooters running around waiting for the call, radio, oh, we're there, bang, and they drop it off. And they'll get deliveries a couple times a night, so you don't have to store extra ice, you really don't. And what that's given them is there are lots of different ice styles. These companies differentiate themselves. So it is very easy to get block ice, to get snow, to get pebbles, to get everything else. You don't have to have a shift for it or anything like that. We do. So what I did today is I went and got a 25-pound block, and I kind of left this hole so you could see what it looked like. It was a big square like this. And using my trusty electric chainsaw, I scored it. And I ended up not knowing really what size we were going to be using. Kind of the idea is you make blocks like this, and you store. I always cut them a little too big because it's going to melt a little bit, but it'll store a while. But kind of great. Now there's a couple of different ways of going around this. The machine you saw, which does these, which are almost too perfect in my book. It takes a little while. I like to use a glove when I'm doing a lot, or a towel even. I'm not so sure that my hands are always clean. The Japanese, their justification for this is, well, you've had sushi before, the guy touches everything. This is, you're just going to have to trust that I'm taking care of you and have a clean hand. I'm still not quite there on how I feel about that in modern bar, knowing how fast everything runs, but that's a decision you guys make as a stylistic. So usually start with something like this, and then I'll grab a pick. Sorry, I should have had this ready. Brought a bunch of picks.
I'm gonna get right in here with you. I'm gonna get right up in here.
Oh, you're gonna
film documenting.
Scar you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And I am not a master at this. I've only been studying it for about 6 months to a year or so. It's really much easier than it looks like, but basically what I'm doing is I know that there are 8 corners, so I'm just going to go after those corners and hope that it sort of rounds out. So you start taking them off. The ice chips are going to fly everywhere, and I'm always sort of amazed at how sloppy the Japanese bartenders are willing to be when it comes to ice chips flying, and how completely anal retentive they are about absolutely everything else on the bar. But that's what it is. You don't really have to worry about cutting your hand or anything. Like, I like this glove because I can be a little faster, but it's not. This is not that sharp. It really isn't. I'm not saying that felt good, but it's.
So that fits different than the traditional ones, right? Shorter.
They're all the same. They really. I've bought some of those cheaper ones that are a little longer, just in a pinch. It's a nail. Honestly, it's a nail. If you bought a nail that was big enough you could really get a grip on, it'd be fine. There are some pretty low-tech ones flying around Tokyo.
I heard you're holding it at the bottom so that you also, in case you do go into your hand, your palm is stopping you.
Oh yeah. There's no way I could ever go through anything because I'm holding it. Like, even if I broke the skin, I can't go deeper than that. So yeah, doing this is it's no control. For the biggest reason. Now this ice is there's 2 things going on here. One, it's sort of been tempered a little bit, as in it's sat out and I had it in the cooler, so it's actually kind of soft, which is good for getting rid of the corners and really hard for making it smooth. It just sort of wants to come apart.
Are you making chips or are you making ice?
I'm trying to make a cube. I'm trying to make it as round as possible.
So we're going to be doing this at the bar when drinks are ordered?
We're going to be prepping it out beforehand.
Beforehand?
I'm showing you one method right now.
But there's a very cool part of this that everybody's, there's going to be the block of ice on the bar. And early evening when it's only 6 or 7 people or a couple of people sitting at the bar, if you do that in front of them, you sold them. They're going to go around town and talk about it. And obviously when it's 2 or 3 deep,
What I typically do,
take it out.
have as many of these made as you possibly can, and then just be standing there working on one, which you may or may not actually give anybody, just to show it happens.
So you'll have freezers at the bottom.
We can store as many as we
There'll be
fit in
freezers.
there.
If you really want to get fancy, take it to about here and pour the whiskey over it, and it'll drop in. I'm not good enough to ever get that exactly right, and I always end up pouring a 4-ounce whiskey, which is sort of defeats the purpose of looking really cool. I haven't actually done the chipping in a while. I like carving, which I'm going to show you after this. I think we're there. Perfect. So, one important thing to do with this is you need to stir it. One, to get rid of any chips that were in there, but also it looks really cool. There we go. There's an ice ball. Now, the guy who I learned from is a guy named Hidetsuka Ueno-san. He owns a bar called High Five in Ginza. And he went a step further. He doesn't... I'll show you this with a towel, actually.